Hello and welcome to another edition of Authority Marketing Live. I'm Melanie Hirschhorn. I'm the book marketing and publishing strategist for nonfiction and children's book authors who really want to step into their spotlight because you deserve to step into your spotlight. I'm going to help you do that. So today I am very excited because we have a fantastic guest. He'll be up in one moment. But first, I wanted to invite you to our launch party, which is happening on the 16th. My new book, Make a Big Impact with Your Book. We're going to be celebrating it. You are invited. You just have to RSVP right here at this link, and then we will see you there. And I'm very excited to see you there. So today's guest is he's a prolific author. He is a speaking expert. He is you want to know him. His name is Bret Ridgway. And I couldn't hear a word he was saying before, but now I think we got it fixed. So welcome, Bret. How are you?
Melanie, we're going to speak to
Okay, I think we might be losing audio again. So,
meaning so.
okay, try to go closer to the mic. Maybe that'll help.
It isn't so.
Okay, well, you said say it isn't so, so I'm hoping that that's enough.
Well, is it so or is it not so?
No, it's definitely so. I can hear you. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about your latest book. Actually, let's talk about that. So tell us about your book. Please launch into it.
Well, the latest book, which is book number 8, is called How to Build a Profitable Speaking Business, and it's based on my 25 years behind the scenes of the speaking industry. So I actually got my start back in 1999 when a guy who I had a joint venture with called me up and asked me if I had handled the back of the room sales table for him at his first internet marketing conference. And I remember well, Melanie, was at the old Las Vegas Hilton, but I said,
Oh,
I haven't been to Las Vegas before. Sounded good to me, so sure, I'll do that. So that led to a side business for our company where over the next 15 years, we would provide the crew and more importantly, a merchant account that could handle a lot of money in a short period of time. And we process all the sales at these events. So we take care of paying the speakers, paying the promoter, and just manage that back sales table. And so as a result, back in the early 2000s, I mean, we're doing this at a lot of events because it wasn't easy to get a merchant account that enabled us to do what we did for most people. So I got to know a lot of the names in the internet and the author space 20 years ago. And when they found out that I was doing some product fulfillment for my own websites, because I actually put up the first portal website in the plant engineering and maintenance industry way back in 1995.
mm.
But when they found out I was doing some product fulfillment for my own stuff, they cornered me at an event and said, "Hey, Brett, will you do some product fulfillment for me?" And I'd been thinking about it for a while because it was a natural outgrowth of all the people I had gotten to know in the industry. So I said, sure. And so with another guy, I founded a company called Speaker Fulfillment Services in 2003. And we work with authors and speakers and information marketers. Some of them are just straight fulfillment assignments. So it's authors who we ship out their book orders for them. Other people, we actually manufactured their products. If they had a home study course to accompany their book or whatever,
Mhm.
we did all the printing, the CD, DVD duplication, packaging, etc.,
So
and
with
ship that out.
so you've got an extensive background in this. So, give us some of what's in the book. What are some of the nuggets that people will learn about?
So the biggest mistake I see speakers make is they don't have a clear picture of who their ideal target audience is. So they think, I've got all this background in all these different areas, and they try to include a mishmash of everything together in a talk. And so they don't have a clear call to action. They don't really know what they want to accomplish with that speak. Do they want to be motivational? Do they want to be educational? Is it training? Is it inspiration? What's the purpose of your talk? And so many of them, since they don't have that clear picture, they don't get on the right stages. And being a successful speaker is all about number one, you got to have a good signature talk that can be modified. So, if you find out you only have 30 minutes to speak instead of 45, well, what are you going to eliminate? Or if you have longer, what are you going to add in terms of stories or interactive activities or whatever? The second key, Melanie, is you got to know how to get those gigs. And most people, frankly, haven't a clue how to get speaking engagements.
Not it.
And I will tell you, it's all about relationships and getting to know people, being seen on summits, even if you're not a speaker there, going out to live events and networking. I mean, I was able to build with my partners our fulfillment company to a several $1 million company, all because of relationships. And I mean, no proactive speaking or marketing was being done. It was all about people I met at events who became clients and then who became great referral partners. So, I mean, if you know internet marketing at all, you know the Russell Brunsons of the world, the John Assarafs, Alex Mondosian, the Armin Moore, the Suzanne Evans. I mean, the Rick Frischmans, Wendy Lipton Bibnell, Judith Briles are all people that, I've had a unique opportunity to see how they do what they do. And so in the 8 books I've written, Melanie, it's all about sharing what I've seen behind the scenes for speakers, authors, and information marketers.
That's
So
amazing because
I said there was 3 keys, Melanie.
yes,
So
yes. I need the
research
third.
it, getting gigs, and number 3, you got to know how to monetize that time on stage. In my mind, there are 3 primary types of speakers. You got your keynote presenter, who we're all familiar with, goes in and delivers a talk for a corporation or an association for a fee. You have what I call the platform seller. So they're going to a multi-speaker event, typically on their own nickel,
Mhm.
and they're sharing their content and then making an offer at the end for some type of continuing education. And the third is what I would call the business builder speaker. So that's a person who maybe they're a chiropractor or an attorney or a financial planner or whatever, but they're just speaking to the local groups to be known as the expert. So when the people have a need for their type of service, it's sort of a logical choice because they know them and they've shared some expertise with them. And in my opinion, Melanie, everybody should be a business builder speaker at the least. Now, maybe you don't want a speaking career, but if you do, then you got to decide whether you want to be a platform seller or you want to be a keynote speaker. And only you can decide what's right for you. And some people thrive in both worlds, but some people are strictly straight in one lane, and that's where they're going to stay.
I love that you broke it down. That was so clear and helpful. And you've brought a special report. So, want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, so the special report goes into a bit more detail about those 3 key things that I mentioned, which are, again, the signature talk, the getting the gigs, and the monetization aspects. And you can get that signature report by just going to my website at bretridgway.com, and you can find it right on the homepage there. And that's Brett with 1 T and Ridgway with no E. So
Mhm, mhm. Yes, you're missing letters, but in
I
instead of
know.
those letters, you are giving such great value. And you need an E at least in the word value. Um, all right, so you've got 8 books. You know what people really need to do to have a great speaking career. What are like the biggest mistakes that you think people make aside from, not knowing necessarily what kind of speech to have or when somebody's standing up on stage, what are some of those mistakes?
Well, one of the biggest questions that people always ask is, should I use PowerPoints or not PowerPoints? And, we all see it where the speaker comes to an event, they have a PowerPoint deck, and they basically just read their slides to you one after the other. Well, I can read, Melanie. I don't need them to read their slides to me or whatever. So the key obviously is to know your content inside and out, and you can deliver, and the slides are just a prompt for you to help you keep on track or whatever. And so there should be minimalistic at best, mainly images, very little text and all that. Another thing I think that people don't think about is keeping control of the speaking environment as much as possible.
Oh, okay.
So whether I'm a firm believer that if you have a speaking engagement, let's say it's a virtual speaking engagement, if you're not there a minimum of 10 minutes early for when you're scheduled to talk, you're late because you're putting undue stress on that host or that event promoter that are they going to show? Are they not going to show? And they don't need that stress. So you want to be there early. If it's an in-person event, I'm talking the break before you speak or 30 minutes before or whatever. You need to be there and be seen. And one thing that most speakers don't recognize is your talk begins the day or the minute you walk in the door of that hotel or that conference center. It's not when you get on that stage. And so if somebody sees you being rude to the person at the hotel desk or whatever, you're planting bad seeds, and it's going to be harder to achieve rapport with your audience when you set that kind of tone. So you got to be very, very cognizant of being respectful to the event host, and you need to definitely be in it from a service standpoint. I mean, one of the biggest mistakes any business person makes, particularly in networking events, is they go in with the "what can they do for me" type attitude. And you got to recognize networking relationships are a long-term game. And you got to go in with that giving mindset, and it'll come back to you tenfold over time. But if you go in with the "what can they do for me" attitude, they're going to see right through it, and you're not going to get the kind of relationship you built. I mean, one of the books I wrote several years ago was a book called Mistakes Authors Make.
Yes.
And we decided that we were going to launch this book and try to make it a number one bestseller at a live event. So we were, laying it on the line there, and we either going to be a massive egg on our face or it was going to be a success. Well, because of the people I knew in the industry, the relationships I'd established, they were more than willing to help promote that particular launch. And obviously, we got the crowd at the event involved in it also. But we were successful because of relationships. And so, I mean, in my opinion, honestly, that's your number one business asset, the people that know you and the people that you've established some rapport with. And so you've got to be seen out there. Now, you can't do every networking event. I mean, you drive yourself crazy trying to do that.
Yes.
But pick the 2 or 3 that are the best fit for you. Be seen regularly and start to get to know these people. And eventually they'll invite you into their world if you're providing value to their world.
Some of what you have said, I just want to repeat because all of what you said is very, very important. You talked about the importance of developing long lasting relationships and not always coming in somewhere and going, "What's in it for me? What can these people do for me?" I think that networking has a bad rap because of that. But you have proven time and again that creating these valuable relationships gives you the rewards that you couldn't hope to get from just, posting on Facebook.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you've got to be also, in my opinion, Melanie, not afraid to step outside the box a little bit. And what I mean by that is if you want to nurture relationships properly, you can't be afraid to go offline with those relationships too, in terms of, you know, get a note card or something that you can send out to people. Here's an example. So I have this little note card when I, on somebody's show or they're on my show or whatever, that I send to them because so few people do it. You're going to stand out from the crowd and be noticed because people appreciate that because they get so few. I mean, I keep the ones that I get from people, so there's some value there of, being not afraid to go offline. So that was a thank you from a guest on the podcast, and I appreciate it, and it definitely again makes them stand out from the crowd.
Absolutely. And I love the show and tell too. Yay, video. All right. So if you had to give us, one thing, one piece of homework for people who really want to be effective speakers, what would that homework be that they need to do this weekend and next week and next month so that they can really, step into their spotlight?
Yeah, I would say commit to your marketing. I mean, marketing, you've got to remember that any job that a person has, I mean, you're not a speaker, you're a marketer of speaking services. I mean, you're not a plumber, you're a marketer of plumbing services. So, what are you going to do every day to continue to feed new things into your world or strengthen those relationships that will help your business long term? I mean, my friend Armin Moore has a term, he calls it 5-minute marketing. But, what are you going to do every day so that you're not just tied down doing your business, you're helping to build your business? I mean, you're probably familiar with the old E Myth Michael Gerber books, I assume. And that's all about how you got to, just because you're a good mechanic doesn't mean you're good at running a mechanic's business. So what are you going to do each day marketing wise, whether it's a thank you note to somebody or a Facebook post or sending out an email or whatever it may be, but you've got to remain true and steadfast and consistent to your marketing so that people see you on a repetitive basis but also that you're sharing valuable content with them regularly so that they appreciate the value that you're bringing into the world. But marketing consistency is a key. So, don't stab at it here or there or throw spaghetti at the wall. Lay out a marketing plan. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's my marketing hour or whatever every day, or half hour or whatever, 5 minutes, whatever it may be. But you're going to do something marketing wise every day to help build your business.
Beautiful. And I couldn't have picked that out of your brain better. So thank you for saying that. And everybody, you can grab Brett's special report right here. Is 3 key things entrepreneurs must master to build a profitable speaking business. And you can get it right on his website, bretridgway.com. There's 1 T in Brett and no E in Ridgway. Thank you so much for being here, Brett. I know that we had some technical issues at the start, but I got to hear your voice and see your face, and I'm very, very happy that we got to do that. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Melanie. Appreciate your patience with me today.
All good. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful weekend and check out this report. It's going to really help you. Thanks.